recently talked about Anthony Davis and said Anthony can do everything the Joker can do, everything Embiid can do. I'm expecting him to be MVP, if not this year, definitely next year. Now, Kevin Garnett, since '80s came in the league, Kevin Garnett is basically hyped up and talked about how great Anthony Davis is. He's always preaching just positivity about Anthony Davis. And it is something that I do believe. Now, he's not the passer that Jokic is, but the ability to score, the ability to play make, he still can play make. He is a guy that is really good at passing out of the double team. He's unselfish at times, to a fault in many people's eyes at times, but he's also the defender that neither Jokic or Embiid is. Embiid's closer than Jokic is, but Anthony Davis is far and away the best defensive player, but Anthony Davis can also do all of the same things that Joel Embiid can do. Stretch the floor, operate in the mid-range, operate in the post, do about everything. And there have been conversations throughout his entire career, even dating back to the Pelicans, where real conversations of, is he the best player in the league? Because there's nobody else that when Anthony Davis is playing to his absolute potential, anyone else can come close to, right? I mean, the closest you could argue right now would be Giannis, but Giannis doesn't have the offensive game that Anthony Davis has. Defensively, and just his domination at times is something that you could compare to, but Anthony Davis has the total package. And I mean, in all seriousness, like, if Anthony Davis just locked in and really just dominated the game of basketball, like we know he can, we've seen him do it, right? I mean, even last year, he had like a 2-3 week stretch where he was unstoppable. He led the league in 30 and 15 games. He led the league in 35 and 15 games. The guy was a monster in these moments, but it's the lack of consistency at times, right? Like, Giannis's bad games are still like 25 and 8 or something like that, or 28 and 5, right? Like, it's like, man, that was a terrible game, but it's like his game is as good as most people's like great games, right? Where Anthony Davis, his bad game is like 10 points, 9 rebounds and 2 blocks. But he always has the defensive side of things. If Anthony Davis just for 1 year, really just honed in, locked down, and played to the level that we know he could play, I absolutely could see him winning the MVP, right? Like, this year, the Lakers, and I said this last year, and to a degree, I mean, it was spot on. We go as far as Anthony Davis takes us. If Anthony Davis is a powerhouse and clearly the number one guy, and is just absolutely dominating, good luck beating us with this roster. With the depth, the size, the talent, the switchability, the defense will probably be a top defense in the league. My guess is we're a top 5 offense in the league. We were 7th last year, and that was with like just awkward teams and awkward fits and everything like that. So we'll still probably be the best defensive team, probably be a top 5 offense. We may even be the number 1 offense because the Lakers averaged 116 points per game last year. Is it really that far-fetched to think that they couldn't average like 4 more a game with this current roster? And D'Lo on a full year, Austin Reeves and his emergence, all of that. You're telling me we can't get another 3 to 4 points, which means if we go off of the numbers last year, the Lakers would be number 1 in offense. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that the Lakers are the best offensive team, the best defense team. But even if they're just top 5 offensively and the number 1 defense team, or even top 5 defensively, the only team in the league that was top 5 in both offense and defense last year was the Boston Celtics. So if the Lakers are there, then you're talking about arguably the best team in the entire and all of basketball, right? And the Lakers are capable of that. But the only way we get there is with Anthony Davis. Now, he's going to miss his 20 games or whatever, 30 games. Like, I'm okay with that. Pretty much every star in the league nowadays miss 20 plus games. The days of like playing all, 82 games is it's over, right? They don't do that anymore, right? Like, the only guys that are really doing that are like Mikal Bridges, right? Like, you look at the list, even if you just look at like the top 30 players, Anthony Davis has played more games over the last like 5 years than almost all of them. So it's not like, but he's the one that gets the label of street clothes stuff. And it's because he's on the Lakers and so everything's just glamorized and everything's just highlighted bigger. But this is a guy that he just got his contract, so you don't have to worry about that looming over your head all season of like, I got it, my agents going through negotiations. Are they going to pay me? Are they going to trade me? You know, do I get to a point where I'm frustrated and now I want out? Like, you know, like all of the noise that could potentially distract and just be an issue for this Lakers team, it's all gone. Everyone's locked up. Everyone's good. The closest thing that I think we'll get tons of speculation on and rumors surrounding Lakers will be, is D'Angelo Russell traded? But I don't think that will be that big of a distraction. Maybe for D'Lo, but we have more than enough. Even if it becomes a distraction, right? So like Anthony Davis has everything in his corner to just lock in and go be him, right? Go be that guy. LeBron wants him to take over and be the number one option, but also it goes both ways, right? Anthony Davis, to his defense, you got to get him the basketball, right? He's not a point guard. He's not a point forward, right? He is a call for the ball, dump it down to him, let him go to work. Let him operate and get that fadeaway. Let him operate in the mid-range. Let him operate down in the post, right? Like, it's how many times did we see, even in the playoffs, Anthony Davis would have like 20 through three quarters and then just like not take a field goal attempt in the fourth. And you're like, dude, what's going on? But you got to get him the ball. They're double teaming him. They're trying to keep him from gaining the ball because they know if he gets the ball, it's probably a bucket. So they're trying to make you got to find ways. That's on the coach. That's on the players. That's on LeBron. It's on Reeves. That's on D'Lo. You got to get Anthony Davis the ball. And at the same breath, Anthony Davis needs to be more assertive, needs to be more aggressive, and needs to demand the ball. You're the guy. Get me the ball, right? At times, he can be a little too passive, and then that becomes an issue. But if he be's assertive and demands the ball, go to your head coach, right? Darvin Ham is open. Darvin Ham in one of the press conferences even said, I need to do a better job of getting AD the ball, right? If you're not getting the ball, you're not happy, go to your coach. Dude, get me the ball. Figure it out. Like, that's your job. Draw up a play to get me the ball and let me go to work. He needs to be more assertive. He needs to be more aggressive. Obviously, he doesn't need to, I don't need him to score 30 and 20 every game, right? Like, if guys have it going and teams are killing it, or the team is killing it, and Anthony Davis only needs to go get 15, fine, right? Like, don't overexert yourself just to say, like, oh, look, I got 30 tonight, right? Like, or distract from the team or take away from the overall team. And that's what I love about Anthony Davis. He doesn't need to go get 30 every single night for the Lakers to win and for the Lakers to dominate. And you have enough offensive talent. But a majority of the time, Anthony Davis needs to be the guy. And he's the guy that is very likely going to be the one that's taking over as soon as next season. Not this season coming up, but next season. Because LeBron, after this season coming up, could just say, all right, I'm done. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. And leave. And now it's Anthony Davis's team, and this is it. Right? So Anthony Davis, he's got to start making that transition. And I know it's hard because LeBron James's gravity is just so massive, right? And we've seen even guys like Dwayne Wade, and Kyrie and guys like that even just defer to LeBron because it's easy to do. And, he's just, you want to make sure he gets the ball and gets his touches. But if this is Anthony Davis's team and LeBron is serious about having Anthony Davis take the reins and be the guy, at some point LeBron James needs to tell the team or make the example or do whatever of, no, Anthony Davis is one, right? I'll get mine. Don't worry about it. Get AD the ball. And he needs to do the same. He needs to go and get AD the ball. But I absolutely believe Anthony Davis can win the MVP this year. I think if the Lakers win the championship, I think he wins final MVP. Because I think if we win the chip, it's a lot on him. Unless LeBron just has some like crazy turn back the clock series or something. But Anthony Davis, the Lakers, they go as far as he takes us. Right? If he is the guy and he is dominating and he is controlling and being the defensive anchor and he is the one that is kind of dictating these games, the Lakers are going to win a lot of games, right? And this team is deep enough to weather the storm. He proved for an entire playoff series he can play through injuries. He could be on the court. He could finish a series. That was a big question mark, right? Like, can he stay healthy? Can he play in the playoffs? That's a big thing. And he was able to prove that this year. He got his contract because of it. Hopefully he continues that and he doesn't look at it as like, well, I got my bag. I don't need to like overexert myself. No. Now it's time to start cementing your legacy. Now it's time to go get that MVP. Go get that second NBA championship. Go get that finals MVP. Show the world that you're one of the greatest center power forwards ever, right? Like, let's do that because he has the potential. He absolutely has the potential. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think Anthony Davis asserts himself and becomes that powerhouse, becomes that force for the Lakers, and is in at least conversations of MVP, right? Like, he's got to at least be in those conversations. And do you think he has that potential? Do you think he does it? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it, so let me know down in the comments.